I knew something was wrong the minute I pulled into the parking lot of my apartment building in Midtown Atlanta. You know that kind of wrong that doesn't announce itself? It just vibrates in the air like a mosquito you can't quite see? Yeah, that kind. My condo, my pride and joy, floor-to-ceiling windows, city views, and furniture that actually matches, had been my peace palace. I'd worked overtime for that place. Early mornings, skipped brunches, even saying no to the kind of soft life vacations my friends kept posting about on Instagram. But I finally did it. 2 weeks in Santorini, baby. A reward for myself. A break from being everyone's dependable big sister/rescue fund. The plan was simple. Come back tanned, refreshed, and spiritually unbothered. What I didn't plan for was coming back to a scene that looked like a low-budget sitcom called Everybody Hates Boundaries. As I dragged my suitcase through the hallway, humming to myself, I noticed something peculiar. A pair of Crocs, lime green, the type of disrespectful shade you only see on teenagers or people who've given up on life, sat neatly beside my doormat. I don't own Crocs. That was red flag number 1. Red flag number 2 was the faint sound of laughter coming from inside my apartment. I froze, keys in hand, heartbeat thumping. My mind did a quick scan for possible explanations. 1. Maybe building maintenance came in to fix something. 2. Maybe my mom asked the cleaner to air the place out. 3. Maybe I was hallucinating from jet lag. But then I heard it, a man's voice. Yo, pass the remote. Excuse me? I unlocked the door and pushed it open, praying I was in the wrong apartment. Nope. There was my couch, my scented candle burning, my throw blanket that I bought from Pottery Barn, currently wrapped around a man I had never seen before in my life. And next to him, my sister, Tasha, eating cereal out of my decorative bowl. On my white sofa, I stood there, suitcase in hand, staring like a ghost haunting its own house. It took Tasha a full 5 seconds before she looked up and screamed, "Oh my God, you're back early." Early, I repeated, blinking. I was gone 2 weeks, Tasha. Not 2 hours. The man, tall, lanky, clearly unemployed by the way he flinched at authority, adjusted his do-rag and gave me a nervous smile. "Hey, sis." "Who?" I said slowly. "Is sis?" Before she could answer, another voice came from down the hall. A woman's voice. "Girl, your water heater is amazing. I just took the best shower of my life." I turned. Out walks a girl wearing my bathrobe. My silk bathrobe. The one with my initials embroidered on it. At that point, I genuinely thought I'd died in Greece, and this was hell. "Okay," I said, setting my suitcase down. "Let's start with names before I start swinging." Tasha jumped up, cereal bowl clutched to her chest. "This is my boyfriend Darnell and his sister Kiki. They just needed a place to crash for a bit." I blinked. "A bit? In my apartment?" She nodded like it was the most reasonable thing in the world. "Yeah, Mama said it'd be fine since you left the keys with her." I felt my left eye twitch. "Mama gave you my keys for a weekend, not a housewarming." "Well," Tasha said, nervously tucking a braid behind her ear, "it was supposed to be just the weekend, but then things extended." "Extended?" I repeated, voice rising. "You mean like a vacation or a lease?" Darnell jumped in, trying to sound diplomatic. "Look, it's just until we get back on our feet. Her in-laws were trippin' and kicked her out, and you got this big ol' place with all that space." I stared at him. "Sir, there are 2 bedrooms here, and none of them are yours." "What space are you talking about?" Kiki, still in my robe, casually walked to the fridge, opened it, and said, "Y'all got oat milk?" My stomach don't do dairy. I swear to God, I saw white light for a second. You see, Tasha's always been the family's favorite little storm. She's got that mix of charm and chaos that makes people forgive her even when she's wrong. Mama always said, she's just trying to find her way. Well, apparently her way led straight through my front door. I called Mama immediately. "Mama," I said, voice trembling. "Why are there squatters in my apartment?" Mama sighed like I was the unreasonable one. "Don't start, Denise. Your sister was going through a hard time. You've got that big place all to yourself. I didn't think you'd mind if she stayed a while." "A while?" I shouted. "There are 3 of them in here. One of them just asked for oat milk." Mama had the nerve to say, "Be kind, baby. That's your family." Family. That word should come with a warning label. By the time I hung up, my blood pressure was tap dancing near heaven's gates. I looked around my once spotless living room and almost cried. There were shoes everywhere. Someone had hung a jacket on my expensive lamp. And there was a suspicious smell coming from the kitchen. Something between burnt chicken and regret. I turned back to Tasha, who was now pretending to tidy up. So what's the plan, exactly? Because this little arrangement ends tonight. Tasha gasped like I'd suggested violence. You can't just kick us out, Denise. Can I? I asked, crossing my arms. Whose name is on the lease? Darnell raised a hand. Can we at least stay till Friday? I'm waiting for my music to drop. What music? I asked. He smiled proudly. My mixtape. Of course. At that point, I realized logic wasn't going to work. I took a deep breath, smiled sweetly, and said, Sure. You can stay till Friday. Tasha beamed. Really? Yup, I said, walking to my bedroom. Because by Friday, I'll have a plan so good it'll make you wish you'd never found my spare key. That night, I couldn't sleep. My peaceful apartment had turned into a community center. Darnell was snoring on the couch, Kiki was watching reality TV in the guest room, and my sister was talking on the phone loud enough for the entire building to hear. I stared at the ceiling, rage and disbelief fighting for dominance. How do you go from sipping cocktails in Santorini to sharing your bathroom with your sister's boyfriend's sister? I thought about calling security, but I knew Mama would guilt-trip me into letting them stay. I could already hear her. Denise, they're family. Don't be heartless. So I started planning. Quietly, methodically, the way a woman does when she's reached her limit. The next morning, I woke up early, showered, and dressed like I was going to war. Hair slicked, perfume expensive, and attitude fully loaded. I walked into the living room, where Darnell was playing video games like he paid rent. Morning, I said with fake cheer. Just wanted to let y'all know, my building management is coming for an inspection tomorrow. Tasha looked up, worried. Inspection? Yeah, I said. They're checking for occupancy issues. Extra people staying without authorization. Kiki paused mid-bite. So like they'll see us? Exactly. Silence. I could practically hear their brains calculating. Oh, Tasha said slowly. Well, maybe we could just step out that day. I smiled. Sure. You could step out permanently too. Just a thought. By noon, I'd had enough of pretending. I called my friend Jordan, who worked in real estate, and explained the situation. Girl, he said between laughs. You came back from vacation and found a whole community living in your condo? Jordan, they're multiplying by the hour, I hissed. If I wait another week, they'll register this address for mail. He laughed so hard I almost hung up. Then he said, You want me to come by? Yes, I said. Bring authority energy. Wear a suit. He showed up that evening, clipboard in hand, looking official. He walked in, nodded solemnly, and said, Good afternoon, everyone. Building inspection. The panic that spread through that apartment was art. Darnell dropped his controller. Kiki vanished into the guest room. Tasha started whispering, Oh my God, oh my God. Jordan looked around, scribbling nonsense on his clipboard. You folks living here? He asked casually. Just visiting. Tasha squeaked. He said. Management doesn't allow extended guests beyond 72 hours. Violation could result in fines or eviction. I had to bite my lip to stop from smiling. Jordan turned to me. Ms. Denise, I'll need the names of any unauthorized tenants. Oh, I don't have them written down, I said sweetly. But I'm sure they'll be gone by Friday. He nodded. Good. That's the deadline. That night, the apartment was quiet. No TV, no music, no cereal slurping. Just peace. Until Mama called. Denise, she started. What did you do? Tasha's crying, saying you brought some man to scare them. Mama, I said, trying not to scream. They are living in my apartment without permission. Still, she said, sighing. You could have handled it better. You always make things so dramatic. I almost laughed. I came home from vacation to find a man in a do-rag on my couch and a stranger wearing my robe. How much more dramatic do you want it to get? She paused, then said softly, She's your sister, baby. She just needs time. I closed my eyes. Well, she's got until Friday. And then I'm reclaiming my peace. That was Tuesday. By Thursday, I noticed something strange. The apartment was too quiet. My fridge was restocked. My candle was lit again. My living room looked exactly like I'd left it. And then I saw it, a note on the counter in Tasha's handwriting. Hey sis, we're moving out today. Sorry for everything. Didn't mean to overstep. Love you. Tasha and Darnell and Kiki. I exhaled like I'd just survived a natural disaster. But just as I was about to celebrate, I heard my phone buzz. It was a message from Jordan with a photo. He'd just driven past my building. The photo showed Tasha, Darnell, and Kiki loading their stuff into my spare storage unit downstairs. I closed my eyes and whispered, Oh, these people want war. When I saw that photo Jordan sent me, Tasha, Darnell, and Kiki hauling boxes into my storage unit like it was an Airbnb with bad lighting, I laughed. Not a normal laugh. That slow, unhinged kind that comes from the soul when you realize the universe has decided to test your patience one last time before you ascend to sainthood. Oh, okay, I muttered to myself. They want to play games? Let's play. I threw on my sunglasses, grabbed my keys, and took the elevator down to the basement like a woman possessed. The security guard, Mike, who'd known me for years, nodded as I passed. Hey, Ms. Denise. You back from Greece? I smiled tightly. Yup. And apparently I brought squatters back as souvenirs. He blinked. Huh. I kept walking. By the time I reached the storage level, I could already hear Tasha's voice echoing through the corridor. Darnell, don't drop that box. It's got my wigs in it. I turned the corner, and there they were, setting up camp between the metal doors. Darnell was plugging in a small fan using the hallway outlet. Kiki was spreading out a blanket like they were hosting a picnic in hell. And Tasha was organizing her clothes on a folding rack. I leaned against the wall and clapped slowly. Well, this is creative. Tasha froze mid-fold. Oh, you saw. Oh, I saw, I said, walking closer. Imagine my surprise. My sister, her man, and his sister turning my storage unit into a condo. You've outdone yourself. Darnell chuckled awkwardly. It's just temporary, Denise. You said Friday, remember? We didn't want to leave the building. You didn't wanna. I stopped myself. You know what? Never mind. I'll handle it. That night I made calls. Real calls. Grown woman calls. By morning I had 3 new allies. The building manager, my lawyer friend Jasmine, and Mike the security guard, who, bless his petty heart, agreed to lose their access cards by noon. At exactly 12:03 p.m., I got a text from Tasha. Why can't we get back into the building? The cards aren't working. I texted back one word. Oops. Then I put my phone on silent and sipped my latte like a villain in silk pajamas. But peace never lasts long when your mother has a phone and 0 boundaries. At 2:15 p.m., Mama called. Denise, she started. Why did you lock your sister out of the building? Because, I said calmly, she turned my storage unit into a studio apartment. That's not the point, Mama snapped. She said she was only trying to give you space. I nearly dropped my cup. Space? Mama, she's been living in my space. With her unemployed boyfriend and his oat milk, loving sister. Don't be so dramatic, Mama said, her tone softening. You've always had more than enough. You could help her a little. I sighed. Mama, I've been helping her my entire adult life. Rent, bills, groceries, emergency hair money. When does she ever help herself? There was silence on the line. Then Mama said quietly, You were always the responsible one, Denise. You can handle it. That sentence. That cursed sentence. The anthem of every oldest child in the South. I hung up before I said something unholy. The next few days were blissful. My apartment was clean again. My scented candles burned without fear of being blown out by Darnell's body spray. My fridge had food that I bought. For a moment, life was good again. Until Thursday. That's when I came home from work and noticed a familiar pair of lime green Crocs sitting outside my door. Again. Oh no, I whispered. Not today. I opened the door, and there they were, sitting on my couch. Like I hadn't just exorcised them a week ago. Tasha smiled nervously. Hey sis. Don't hey sis me, I snapped. How did you even get in here? Mama let us in, she said quickly. She said we could talk. I turned, and there was Mama standing by my window, holding her purse like she'd come to broker peace in a hostage situation. Denise, she said, her voice weary. I'm tired of all this tension between my girls. I folded my arms. Then maybe one of your girls should stop invading the other girl's apartment. Tasha frowned. You act like I'm a stranger. No, I act like a tenant who pays rent on time and doesn't appreciate squatters, I said sweetly. Darnell muttered, That's cold. I shot him a look so sharp it could have filed his taxes. Sir, you're lucky I haven't called the cops. Mama stepped between us. Now that's enough. Y'all are family. We don't need police in family business. I laughed. Funny, Mama. Because if I broke into your house, you'd call 911 before I even touched your thermostat. She pursed her lips. That's different. How? I demanded. Because I'm your mama. There it was again, that magic family logic that defied all reason. I exhaled slowly, the kind of sigh that carries centuries of big sister trauma. Mama, I love you. But this ends tonight. Tasha looked on the verge of tears. I just needed a place to figure things out. And you could have asked, I said, my voice softer now. Instead, you moved in, brought a +1, and then another +1. This isn't figuring things out. This is freeloading with extra steps. She sniffled. I didn't think you'd understand. I do understand, I said. I understand exactly what it feels like to be the responsible one, to never catch a break because everyone assumes you'll manage. I just got back from my first real vacation in years, and instead of peace, I came home to chaos. For a second, nobody said anything. Even Darnell looked guilty. Then Kiki, of all people, spoke. She's right, Kiki mumbled. This ain't cool, Tasha. Tasha glared at her. Whose side are you on? The side with air conditioning and privacy, Kiki said under her breath. Mama sighed and sat down. All right, what's the plan then, Denise? You gonna throw them out on the street? No, I said firmly. I already called Jasmine. She found a short-term rental near College Park. I'll cover 1 month's rent, one. After that, y'all are on your own. Tasha blinked. Wait, you're paying for? Yes, I interrupted. Because I want my peace back, and I'm willing to buy it if I have to. Darnell looked relieved. That's fair. It's not fair, I said. It's final. Mama just shook her head, muttering. You've got your daddy's temper. And apparently everyone else's rent money, I shot back. By the weekend, they were gone for good. Jasmine helped me draw up a little tenant release, just in case Tasha decided to make a surprise comeback. I changed my locks, updated my security code, and instructed Mike to treat anyone without my explicit approval like they were trying to rob Fort Knox. For the first time in weeks, I sat on my couch, wine glass in hand, watching the sunset hit the Atlanta skyline. My peace had finally returned, a little bruised, a little more expensive, but home nonetheless. Then my phone buzzed. It was Mama. Of course. Your sister says thank you. She's already got a job interview. Maybe this was what she needed to wake up. I smiled, shaking my head. Good for her, I texted back. And please tell her not to list my address on the job application. Mama sent a laughing emoji, her version of surrender. Weeks passed. Life went back to normal. I hosted brunches again, invited friends over, even started dating a man who, praise the Lord, had his own place. Tasha called sometimes, sounding happier. She'd moved into a little one-bedroom and was finally learning the beauty of paying her own bills. Then one Friday evening, while I was cooking dinner, my phone buzzed again, Tasha. I braced myself, but this time her tone was different. Hey sis, she said softly. I just wanted to say thank you. For everything. I know I acted crazy, but you didn't give up on me. I smiled. I came close. I know, she laughed. But I'm working now. Darnell's got a job too. We're trying. Good, I said. Just keep trying. I'm proud of you. There was a pause. You still mad? I sighed. Nah. But if I ever see those lime green Crocs near my door again, I'm calling the cops. She burst out laughing. Deal. That night, as I cleaned up the kitchen, I thought about how easy it is for family to cross lines, especially when love makes you soft. I'd always been the fixer, the provider, the one who made things happen. But this time, I'd learned something new. Helping someone doesn't mean letting them take over your peace. Atlanta taught me that year that luxury isn't just marble countertops or skyline views. It's boundaries. And baby, mine were newly renovated. When I finally curled up on my couch, candle flickering, city lights twinkling outside my window, I whispered to myself, "Welcome home, Denise." Again. And for once, nobody answered back from the hallway.